everyone. Welcome to Anointed Lady TV, the home of news and politics. If it is your first time in this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like what we do on this channel, hit on the subscribe button. Also put on the notification bell so you'll be notified by YouTube anytime we drop a new video. And if you are returning subscribers, thank you very much for always coming back to watch our videos. On this platform, we drop videos every day and we react to every video that come our way. And on this very video, I will be watching with you. And after watching, let's go to the comment section and drop our opinion constructively. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. See you next time in my next video.
Thing to do with the Naira is to completely abolish the multiple rate system in the Naira. That's what is promoting the corruption that is killing the Naira. If you go to the Central Bank of Nigeria today, depending on who you talk to or depending on who you know, you can exchange the Naira for as low as 200, 300 to a dollar. And they have, I don't even know how many rates they have, without eliminating that rate and allowing the Naira to find its own balance, not by floating, but by ensuring that our macroeconomic policies are in tandem with the managers of our economy. I mean, they all understand that the economy ought to be managed a certain way. One of the things I would have done if I was president of Nigeria today is I would have fired the central bank governor. He has no credibility, having dabbled into politics and tried to become a presidential candidate in the last primaries. So you cannot expect your macroeconomic manager to be so tainted that people have no faith even in the central bank of your country. Ultimately, the way to protect the Naira is to produce. I have said this always, that without production, without getting our system in place in which we have an energy system or a power system, as we like to call it, so that it ensures that Nigerians, whether you are a small business person or you are a multinational corporation, can produce inside Nigeria, we will have no means of protecting our currency because we are not players in the international market as such. The only product we have there is oil, crude oil, and about half of that is stolen on a daily basis today. And we can't find people who are stealing 700,000 barrels of oil on a daily basis, but we can find people who steal phones on the street and put them in jail forever. So leadership is key, but most importantly, to have very solid macroeconomic managers that understand that the Nigerian economy is not meant for just ordinary investors. It's meant for the Nigerian people. Because I hear this all the time, people saying, well, you don't have a system that, foreign direct inflow, investors can come into. No, the problem is not foreign investors. It's our own people that must be protected first before you protect people who are here to come in, invest on the short term and take away whatever big profits they can take.
In July, when you declared your assets on Twitter, you were declaring some ancient Samsung Galaxy Note 10 as an asset, an iPhone, a two-bedroom bungalow. Who considers a Samsung Galaxy 10 an asset by today's standards? And then you have refused to go and visit those persons that Dele Momodu calls the owners of Nigeria. You have not gone to Mina. You have not gone to Abeokuta. You are not paying homage to anybody, and you want to be president. Then you are talking about legalizing marijuana, and then you want to close down police barracks. These are clearly unorthodox views. What do you say to that characterization by Kikanda?
Well, let me thank Gimba for such a well-written prose on myself. I agree with him that I don't know how to genuflect on the altars of fallen gods. If you wake up in Nigeria and you look at your environment, you look at your roads, your hospitals, your schools that are closed down, a level of high institutions, children that are wandering the streets, and the only thing you can do is to head to Mina or Abeokuta or wherever these so-called owners of Nigeria are, who, by the way, should be in prison, some of them, then something is wrong with you. I cannot phantom why a presidential candidate or a politician will go in the direction of people who destroy the country when they are claiming that you want to reclaim the country. And that's been my position. And I don't want to waste my time pleading with them, knowing that so many of them don't even add any political value to the country. They just erect, a shrine somewhere where people come and worship them. And they are the ones sometimes who go out and say, hey, tell Sowore to come and visit me. Tell this person to come and visit me. What we're saying, if the Nigerian people actually need to own their country, we have to travel in a different direction. You were talking about my Galaxy phone as something that is not an asset. It's because you are used to people who steal and have huge assets that they did not work for. I work for my own Galaxy phone. An iPhone that is about ₦1 million, you cannot claim that it's not an asset. You can't claim that a bicycle is not an asset. Any asset that you can use for even financial transactions. If I want to borrow money from you and you are not sure that I'll pay you back, you can ask me to drop my iPhone. So it becomes an asset in that regard because I can use it for a collateral. But it's also to let you know that you don't have to own half of Nigeria to be happy or to be a good person. And that's why I'm glad I declared my asset within 10 minutes after I saw on Twitter that Sèŕìøùśly was requesting for presidential candidates to declare their asset. The other candidates, since 3 months that I declared mine, haven't been able to declare their assets because some of them don't even know where their assets are located and they can never compile their assets. And it's time for Nigerians, as I keep saying, to stop voting for people who are greedy and look in the direction of those who are in need. That shows to you that my 51 years on earth, I've never stolen anybody's property. I've never tried to own what doesn't belong to me. But that did not make me a lesser human being than those who own half of Nigeria, private jets, who have money hidden in tax havens, because they are not happier than me. Instead, they are carrying the burden of depriving the citizens of Nigeria their own entitlements. And this will not continue forever. You brought up the issue of marijuana again. The last time I was discussing this 4 years ago, people were making fun of me on your show that, oh, you're talking about marijuana. But marijuana has become good now. The Ondo State governor traveled to Malaysia to try and set up a marijuana business in Ondo State, my state. When I saw him at the hotel, I said, why are you going to Malaysia? You're wasting money. Ask me in 5 minutes, I'll tell you how to refine marijuana. Canada is making over $4 billion annually from legalizing marijuana, because marijuana is not just what makes people high, it's medicinal. It's what you can use to treat arthritis. The leaves can be used to make clothes. It can be used to make ropes. So if I am Ondo State governor and I can make $1 billion from planting marijuana, which is already in abundance in Ondo State, by the way, why would I be going to Abuja to beg for the peanuts that they share on a monthly basis? So these are things that people must understand. I think I'm a little bit ahead of my time. And I'm happy that all of you are seeing the value of what I discussed 4 years ago. You now understand what I was saying 4 years ago when I said, And one other thing I want to tell you is that if Niger Delta people with just open drums cut in half can be producing diesel, why is it that Nigeria as a nation cannot produce petroleum products? If we can help a businessman build a refinery and go there to shamelessly commission it, why is it that Nigeria couldn't have built its own refineries within that period that the so-called rich man, billionaire, built his own? So those are the issues. You were also talking about the health sector. Of course, what do you expect the health sector to be when the president of your country can't go to a hospital in Nigeria? They ruined it. They destroyed it. And to compound the situation now, you have over 8,000 doctors have left Nigeria in the last 2 years after COVID to take care of the people who used to tell us that it's wrong to invest in education. And now, to make it matters worse, your universities are closed for 8 months now. So where are you going to train the next set of doctors that will take care of these problems without immediately arresting these problems, including reopening the universities, investing in them, so that we can rapidly produce more doctors that take care of the population that is going to come, and invest heavily in the health sector, both primary, secondary, and tertiary sector of the health sector. There's no way around it. If you don't make the investments with discipline and honesty, you are not going to get a health sector that is working. You must have a health insurance system that works for the people and make sure that they are monitored, and you have hospitals. We used to have hospitals, you know, what do they call it? General hospitals around Nigeria that works. What happened to them? They ruined them. They destroyed them so that they can take all the monies for Nigeria abroad to take care of a few people who can afford it. How much do we spend in India every year? Was it not that they used to say that the Saudi Arabia leaders or, you know, their kings and their members of families used to come to UCH in Ibadan to treat themselves? What happened to us that we can no longer treat even common malaria and cholera? Diseases that have disappeared from the surface of the earth in other parts of the world are still prominent here in Nigeria. Okay. It's very sad, but like I keep saying, without the right people in charge of Nigeria, the right investments cannot be made, and the right, you know, country cannot be gotten. It's not a rhetoric question. You need leaders. We don't have leaders here.
I asked you that you are quoted as saying you will scrap police barracks and create a housing system. Are you also going to scrap military barracks and also create a housing scheme for policemen, considering the fact that, yes, the barracks may not be in a good shape, but they seem to serve some kind of social-cultural purpose?
The issue of barracks, I have said it, that the barrack system, you know, kind of excludes law enforcement from the society that they live in. I don't think we need barracks. I think we need a housing system for police officers across the country to make sure that within that 35 years that they're in the force, they build their own homes and live in them. And if you have to transfer them to a constituency where, or a place where they are far from their homes, you can always provide for them monies to rent houses, because that transfer, when I come to power, every police officer will not stay permanently in any police station or unit. You have to keep revolving them so that they get used to their work and they get used to their citizens. So I want to build you a house so that when something happens to you, you retire, you have a place to go to. But when you live in the barracks, it makes you lazy. You don't have a house. When you now retire, you don't want to leave the barracks. And sometimes the barracks are in bad shape. Nobody's taking care of them. I want you to own your own houses and get used to civilian life, because get used to the people you are protecting, not be away from them. With regards to the military, I will also abolish the barrack system that you have now, but I will keep barracks in place for mobilization. What I mean is that if we are going to fight, you have a barracks you can go to, get ready for the fight or assignments, and when you are done, you go back to your house. That's how it is done all over the world. If the US had to build barracks for all their soldiers, probably they will have cities that are just barracks alone, just army barracks. Sure. But they have what they call forts, where they mobilize people, or when they have training or they have events to gather, and they have temporary housing for them. It's the same thing I would do for the military, and the same thing I would do for customs. This idea of barracks is waste of money. And you look at the police system, for instance, when they build barracks and the barracks are in bad shape, somebody is giving money to fix them, they just embezzle the money.